Oops. Okay, so Chris Sherwood is a most remarkable person. That's why he's decided to be chair of this organization. We've had a number of interagency meetings, but it was always to try to get the government groups to better work together and with the support of CSDMS. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Chris Sherwood as our new chair.
Thanks, James. I've been lobbying for this position for a really long time. James has been very resistant about having me come and play this. But I finally got it, and so now I'm the chair of the Interagency Working Group. And in my mind, the main goal of this group is to try and engage federal and state and local agencies into systems. And of course, that benefits systems because to the extent that system science and infrastructure gets used by agencies, it's recognized as having merit and worth. But there's also the fundamentally good idea of getting the agencies to start picking up on this good science, taking advantage of the framework and the infrastructure. So I'm going to declare success in my role as the chair if we can get one or two new projects. There's already some agencies that are working closely now, one or two new projects where agencies leverage systems infrastructure or technology or work with systems academics to further the agency goals. How this, always the very next question is how could this get funded? Hopefully the agencies will contribute, mostly in kind. I don't think a lot of money is usually required, but they do have to delegate staff and maybe a little bit of travel and effort to get involved. There's always the possibility of having a large NOP proposal written. Several agencies are open to that idea, so if there's a project that encompasses the ocean community, NOP is an appropriate forum for funding, and there's always the chance that NSF can provide supplemental funds to researchers to hook up with systems. So I just have a couple of ideas about that I've gotten. I sent out various emails to agencies, and I got a long list of ideas and supplies, and actually that's my request to everybody in this room, is to think of ideas where you think that agencies could take advantage of this, and maybe provide me with those ideas and agency contacts so we can work on that over the course of the week. And sometime later on there'll be meetings with agencies, but my goal is to try and help advance one or two of these topics. So here's a long list of ideas that I got by email. Some of them have been around for a long time in one format or another. The Navy is still interested in learning how they can remotely sense what's going on in the ocean so that they can safely land troops, and this clearly is a case for integrating lots of different models from the ocean. One that I think is on the cusp of being ready is the idea of using the systems modeling system in Chesapeake Bay. As Raleigh will tell you, that the Chesapeake Bay, the EPA is under very strict deadlines to get the Chesapeake Bay water quality initiatives in place. They have deadlines, they have a very tough thing, and they don't have a lot of time for research. If there was a parallel effort to try and bring in some more models, maybe a user interface that would make it easier for people to try the models and test them, maybe allow models to switch out, that's another idea. And then I'm going to jump down to the bottom because I went to a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and under this one that says Army Corps of Engineers North Atlantic Coast Comprehensive Study. Is anybody in this room heard of that? I didn't think so. The Army Corps of Engineers in the last 2 years in response to Sandy has spent 12 million CPU hours modeling storms off the East Coast. They've got a suite of more than 1,100 storms where they've taken kind of typical statistical storms, they've tweaked the tracks, they've changed the tides that they occurred on, they've run detailed wind models, and then they've run wave models, storm surge models, and brought this all into shore on 10 modeling grids on the East Coast. And all these data are, there's lots of reports, there's lots of summaries, but all these data are tucked away in tar files on a computer that is accessible, and all you have to do is pick your run and email somebody at the Corps and they'll send you the results. Well, I think it would be a lot cooler if we could just load those results into MATLAB or Python and merge that model data, I guess is the word for that huge data set, and allow you to use that to force some model that you're doing or something like that. So it's just one example of something that's hidden out there that could possibly be exposed and used in this community. So please come to me with ideas and issues. I'll go back so you get my email address. See Sherwood at USGS, and I'll be here all week, so please bend my ear. Thanks a lot.
Any questions for Chris? Well, it gives me great